Alright, well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight, because it is time for Daily Cast number 10! That's right, we're up to 10, no longer in the 9s, no longer in the 8s, that's number 10. Obviously, more content coming to you guys in the future off of this channel, hopefully more stuff that we can all sit around, enjoy, listen to, and overall just bring more stuff to the channel. There's been a surprise little development as it stands, and by surprise, well, you guys can obviously see. But you don't need to see me most of the time, so back to your channel. Either way, tonight we have another daily cast from, well, not exactly from our Dota 2 casted. This one was actually sent to me over YouTube. Thank you to the guy who decided to do that. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name, though. Without further ado, though, let's go ahead and hop into the match. It is an all-pick match, and I think it's going to be quite entertaining, if you ask me. So, without further ado, realistically, just sit back, enjoy the draft, guys, and, well, let's see what happens. Already, Vinge and Ursa getting picked up just right off the bat. Right off the bat. Vinge and Ursa. Obviously, hopefully randoms. If they did just pick up Ursa that quickly, oh dear lordy, someone's not going to have a fun time. Followed by an OD, actually, an Ursa and an OD. That's going to be an interesting team composition to have right off the bat. Oh yes, let's just hope there isn't a whole lot of int heroes on the other side. Thankfully, Drow Ranger, not so much int, but Vinge, on the other hand, going to be an interesting one to have to deal with that OD, and just the damage output of OD is going to be something that they're going to have to deal with the entire game. Ooh, now this is going to get interesting. They have two mid heroes. They have an OD and a Pudge on their team right off the bat here, so they're going to have to handle this one rather carefully. If they don't, this could not go too well for them. It just depends where they're going to put the Pudge, where they're going to put the OD. My guess, actually, is they're going to rotate the Pudge mid. That's just the usual thing that I see, is that you want Pudge mid more than you want the OD to be mid, which, in my opinion, is kind of a strange development, especially since OD just thrives in the mid lane. But again, Pudge hooks, they're so dependent on that mid lane, and... are we about to see crazy shenanigans? That's the other question. Always have to ask yourself, are there crazy shenanigans that are about to happen here? Looks like they are going to yield OD to mid here, while Pudge goes into the safe lane, actually. So he's going to get support from an Ursa and an Earthshaker, or more correctly, the Ursa is going to be there just to be in the jungle by the most of the regards. Shadow Demon probably going to be running the off lane here. Going to be up against Kunkka in that mid lane. Kunkka versus OD. So Kunkka's going to have a fun time with that. He's going to have his Tidebringer right off the bat. He's going to be able to deal the DPS he needs. And while his mana is going to be a dependency, it's not going to be as large of one as it is for OD. Because if OD can't get a good amount of mana, then he's not going to have a very fun time in mid. Even though he's still going to get his levels, he's going to get his gold. It's really hard to stop an OD from farming mid against anything. Unless you specifically get supports and a mid that are designed to counter that OD. And in this instance, they had time to pick against the OD, but none of these heroes that I can see are exact counters against the OD. So Ursa going to be in the jungle here. Sand King in off lane and a Drow Vinge in the safe lane. Ah yes, Drow and Vinge. Right-click power extraordinaire combined with stun all day long. I believe Vinge's stun is actually regarded as either the most powerful stun in the game or the second most powerful stun in the game. There's other stuns, obviously, Sven stun, just any other stun that actually regards itself as being long enough to take players out of it for a good amount of time, if I can speak, which apparently I can't. Hopefully that'll change itself. And it looks like we are going to see a duel off lane, an Earthshaker and a Shadow Demon going up against these two, and they've already blocked the pole camp. Very nicely played. They put it in the trees even, so it's going to be hard to find, hard to spot, and I don't think these two they do have Sentry Wards, so if they feel like actually getting rid of that pole camp board, they're going to have the capability to do so. They're going to have to walk in the exact spot, otherwise that's just going to go by unknown. The one downside to this is, by the looks of things, it is a dual lane. Pudge is having an interesting time dealing with this. And by interesting time, I mean he's dead. Sand King was able to get in there with his Burrow Strike, and then that's just followed up by Coddle Blast, Chakra, anything else that they need to get the job done. And just the amount of DPS that went up against Pudge there. It's just a bad day to be Pudge, and he didn't go rot first, I don't think. Oh, he did actually go rot first. So if he timed it correctly, he could have committed suicide in that fight, but had he done absolutely immaculately. And unfortunately, in that instance, that simply didn't happen. Meanwhile, safe lane for the Radiant, pushing out very aggressively here. This is going to be a very interesting thing they have to deal with. They have to deal with this lane pushing out. Their pull camp did get dewarded. They put down a Sentry Ward for what would have been the Rune Ward, but it was actually placed up by the Roshan pit instead. So the Dire, I'm not going to say they predicted it, but that could have been a possibility. All I know is that ward was placed in a spot they weren't expecting, and not only that, but they didn't actually deward the pole camp either. And now their lane is pushing directly into the tower, and right about now should be the time where Vinge says, oh hey, we're pushing right into the tower, I should go stack and pull. And we'll immediately figure out that the pole camp has in fact been warded. Meanwhile, Pudge, still having fun up here in top lane, finally got his level 2. Oh god, he's an entire level behind Sand King, and Coddle is almost up to level 3 here, so he's going to have the capability just to play this rather cautiously against this Pudge. Pudge hooks can be a very deadly thing for obvious reasons. And in the meantime, it looks like Kunkka, that Tidebringer, doing him a lot of work. He's got his Torrent now, so he's going to be able to deal damage against this OD if OD's not careful. There is that Torrent, and it looks like he's not going to follow it up with a Tidebringer. Now he doesn't. See, that's what I'm talking about. Just the amount of damage that's brought by that Tidebringer, it's going to force OD out of this lane. He doesn't have a bottle yet. He has no healing implements, and that's going to be a problem for this poor OD who's trying to stay in lane, trying to get his farm, and the unfortunate aspect is that's simply not going to happen right now. He's going to get forced out very, very quickly.
Missing middle.
Which is kind of the unfortunate story here. His top lane's already lost. Jesus, they're tower diving to try and get this Pudge kill here. Coddle's still going for it. Sand King getting stuck out in the middle of nowhere. He might actually die to creeps. He burrow strikes, but is it far enough? The ranged creep isn't going to get the last hit. 19 health. He's going to run right into an Ursa. That's not the thing you want to run into, I got to admit. Nice observer ward, very offensive, but it gives them great vision. Pudge gonna TP back into lane here, and that's gonna leave a Coddle all alone. It's 2-1 now, though. Sand King may have died, but they've gotten 2 kills on that Pudge, and Sand King is the major one who got that damage. And oh, Ursa getting caught out by that Coddle Blast. So nicely played by Coddle. Just doesn't even he gets spotted out by the observer ward, and knowing that he comes over the Coddle Blast, and that was just played perfectly by that Coddle. The Ursa not being very careful in any instance, but he's gonna get punished for it. Meanwhile, mid, OD still taking a little bit more damage from Tidebringer, which is just going to be an infinite pain in his ass. The simple answer is Kunkka is winning this lane right now, simply because he's here. And that's actually a falsity in its own regard, which is kind of a weird thing to say. Kunkka is actually ahead in XP, so per that graph he is winning, but for last hits he's actually behind on denies. He's equal on the last hit chart, but again, that doesn't exactly mean he's winning. But mid lane, in any case, looking like it's going his way just because of his DPS output against the OD right now. And I am going to ignore that Steam message as much as possible. As much as humanly possible, so much. Meanwhile, Drow in the bot lane, though, not actually getting the most last hits right now. She's obviously having an interesting time having to deal with this Shadow Demon and this Earthshaker, and right now, she isn't actually getting that much CS. She's actually behind compared to the OD and compared to the Ursa. The Ursa's even just jungling right now, so no denies from him, but he is going to be getting plenty of last hits, which is very evident. Pudge, on the other hand, going to get hit by another head-on Coddle Blast. In comes Sand King, looking like he wants a kill here. They are pursuing. In comes the Coddle. Ursa, in the meantime, rotated down to another camp, so he can't support this, and Pudge is going to go down. Ursa just not even going to bother defending. Burrow Strike in for the final little bit of DPS. Rotates right into the jungle. Oh, is he going to pull the wave? He does. He force pulls the wave for the Dire. That's actually very nicely played. Followed up by a Coddle Blast, even hopefully doesn't miss. Creeps go down. They're going to be able to take that camp very easily. It's nicely played by the Radiant to pull that right into that camp. It gave them great lane control over the creeps. Not only that, but now that top T1 tower, it's taking damage. It's going to go down most likely as the creeps are about to kill it here. Coddle needs to come in and support this. The catapult's dealing a lot of damage, but now it might be a little bit too late. And indeed, the tower not going to go down. It's at 162 HP. And the next wave not actually going to be here in time. In comes the Radiant Wave. It's going to start dealing damage once again. Pudge is running up here, so there's a potential for a deny if he got here. And they are going to pop the glyph. If Pudge can get here in time, there could be a deny from this, but he actually has to get to the tower, and it's simply not going to be fast enough. That tower going to go down for the Radiant.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Back on the other hand, OD is still lacking his boots. Kunkka going to be grabbing his from the courier in the near future. Also going to get imprisoned very brutally. It's what OD's famous for. You wanted mana, you don't even have mana anymore. He doesn't have enough mana to use his ghost ship right now. This is why dealing with an OD like this is just so brutal. And it looks like down in bot lane, a little bit of an exchange. Vinge going to get picked off, Earthshaker as well, though. Dual lane versus a single solo off lane right there. Not going to go too well if the Earthshaker gets caught out of position. And that's pretty much exactly
missing middle.
OD rotates off. He's going to find the rune. Going to be an invisibility, so he's going to have good capability to move out of this mid lane if he needs to. but he's not going to be doing that right now. Oh, the Shadow Demon rotating down. He might be about to find a Sand King and a Coddle. He sees them. Oh, he doesn't. Just barely, but he doesn't see them. Coddle Blast comes out. It's going to deal just that little bit of damage to the creep camp. Ursa, in the meantime, having some Fury Swipes, so if you're getting a little angry at the creeps, neutral camp didn't really deserve that rage. Supposed to use that on the enemy heroes, man. In the meantime, though, oh, an Earthshaker rotation, rotating towards the mid lane here. Did it get spotted? I think it did get spotted by the Observer Ward. Maybe not. Kunkka, does he see this coming? If he doesn't see this, it could go very poorly. He does back up, moving towards the top rune, and in the meantime, Earthshaker still just holding position in the trees here. He's got great vision. He's got mid-river vision, bot river rune vision, but the one thing he doesn't have is jungle vision. If someone were to come down off this high ground, he wouldn't see it fast enough. Now the Imprison comes in. OD right here with the invisibility rune. In comes the Sanity's Eclipse, followed quickly by a Fissure. More quickly, it goes the other way, but either way, kill still confirmed there, and Kunkka's going to go down, so OD going to get just a little bit of relief in his mid lane, and they're going to transition right into a tower push off this. But in the meantime, oh, the Courier gets caught out. I'm not sure where it was, but the Dire Courier going to go down, and the Radiant Glyph of Fortification getting popped here. A bad day to be the Dire when your Courier dies this early in the game. 8-minute mark, and their Courier just went down. Coddle is busy rotating from top lane to mid here. Gonna look to try to defend his tower. All Vlad's coming out on the Ursa, so he's gonna have the lifesteal he needs. Fury Swipes all of a sudden that much more powerful. In comes the boat. Is it gonna hit? Yes! Shadow Demon gonna drop like a rock. Fissure comes out from Earthshaker to deny the push. No tactical denial from that Fissure in any way, other than just to stun him for the time being, and that's gonna give them the room they need to operate. Pudge right here though, he's got his level 3 of hook. If he can hook a Kunkka here, that'd be a very dead Kunkka if they play it correctly. Looks like they just don't actually feel safe. Kunkka going to push right up the high ground here. Creep's going right for the tower. Actually going right for the Pudge, more correctly. Oh, are we going to have a confrontation here? Sand King sees the Earthshaker, chases him back into the trees, but decides better. But now in comes the Ursa. Ursa also runs her. No! Fury comes out. There's the Rage. But a Sandstorm. Trollolol, says Sand King. Nice job, man. And now Ursa just needs to back off. He's already lost his Fury Swipes. He's already lost his Rage there. So going into that situation, it wouldn't go too well for Ursa, long story short. And a nice offensive ward, actually 2 offensive wards covering this. This can already cover the rune, and now this will cover the other side of the rune as well. So this is an immaculate amount of rune vision. It's going to give them great capability to see everything by the Roche Pit. And right now, considering that there is a 5-man team of Radiant here, looking like they want to make something happen. And the Dire Ward, it sees all of this. They know exactly what's going on. OD right here. Oh, this could go so badly. Pudge rotates forward. Does he throw the hook? No. Cancels it at the last moment. Blinding Light comes out. Venge almost getting caught out. In comes the Fury Swipes. So much damage. Fissure for the final kill confirmed. Now he gets so far forward. In comes the boat. It's not a fail boat. Shadow Demon goes down. Earthshaker going to try. Enchant Totem comes out. Drow Ranger so much DPS though. She needs to get out this. She's running. In comes the Sand King. In comes the Earthquake. And now just the runaway time. Kunkka pursuing the Pudge. He is out of range of his Tidebringer. His Torrent is down. He's got no mana. But Sand King right here going to go under the tower, but it's simply not enough. Pudge going to go down. OG able to rotate out of here, but that is a triple kill for the Kunkka. And that's bar none the absolute thing you didn't want to have happen in that fight. It was set up so perfectly for both sides. Both sides had great ward vision. The one thing the Radiant couldn't see was the high ground here where the OD was. And that's the one thing that the Radiant didn't see coming. The Dire on the other hand had great vision. They saw the high ground on both sides. They saw the river. They saw their the Radiant side of the river. They knew exactly what was going on, and it just didn't go well for them. Misinitiation occurred, and long story short, the Kunkka, the boat, Shadow Demon going down there was not the thing they needed to have happen. Sand King almost the telekinesis of Pudge there. Just going to get rotted just a little bit, but simply not enough. And Dire's Courier here to come back up in the meantime. Lots of stuff happening in a very short amount of time, giving Radiant a huge advantage right now. And this is just going to force the Dire to sit back. I mean, they're going to have to either sit back and farm like crazy, or they're going to have to try and play a little bit more aggressive here. If they can play aggressively, if they can take towers, then they'll be back in control of the tempo of the match. But for the time being, they're stuck where they are. And the simple answer is they are stuck in a situation that they shouldn't want to be in. And that situation happens to be the one where Kunkka is currently leading quite a bit here. Drow Ranger actually leading in overall net worth, but that match for Kunkka, just those triple kills, is going to put him back up here. That's going to give him just the farm he needs. Nice offensive observer ward. Spots out the Coddle. He tries to get down a Coddle Blast. Not going to happen. Now he gets hooked right up to the Pudge. Are we going to see the Dismember? No. Blinding Light knocking him away. Still, actually, he's not even level 6. Pudge isn't he's not level 6. He can't Dismember this Coddle. Instead, it looks like some spells happening here. Rot comes out, still chasing after him. Shadow Demon comes in. He's going to run. He's trying to get killed by the neutral keep camp, but no, the Rot going to pull aggro, and that's not going to happen. But in the meantime, Drow Ranger are going to take out the OD. Kunkka turns back around. Now Shadow Demon in a bad situation, trying to back off. He gets stunned by the Kunkka, I'm sorry, not by the Kunkka, but by the Vengeful Spirit, but still pursuing Torrent, going to miss. Shadow Demon's so very out of range. Ursa, in the meantime, solos Roshan, grabs the Aegis and makes a run for it, but now 3 angry Radiant players and a DD Kunkka coming in here. He's got phase boots. He's pursuing. If he can get a Torrent off in the right position, he might be able to get this kill. A nice fissure, though, from that Earthshaker. He turns right back around. The Fury Swipes come out. It's a DD Kunkka against the Fury Swipe. Ursa, no, just not going to happen. Kunkka bugs out, and now Ursa, he runs towards the safety of his tower. And a TP in from OD just to ensure security. Earthshaker comes down from the top out of mana, though, so no fissure going to come down on the Wrath of Venge. And it looks like both sides just going to back off to their own respective side of the river and wait out the farm a little bit more. Sand King actually split pushing mid that entire fight by the looks of things. I need to take this moment just to say, wards, wards, wards. This ward is about to expire, but it's a great position. This is a lovely offensive ward. Gives them great vision over the entire jungle, especially since Drow has been farming in the jungle periodically throughout the match, and now looks like she's continuing to do that. Nice offensive mid ward just running out, actually. And this one, even better than the last one that I just pointed out. It covers the top rune, it covers the river, it covers the ancients, it covers so much. And it's just an incredibly useful ward. And the Dire right now are completely winning the ward war, as the Radiant only have 1 observer ward. And the one thing it does do is it does cover the Roche pit. That is what it does. And apparently reporting Pudge is a thing now, as he sits here wishing he could hook someone while OD pushes mid. Sorry, I don't think you can push mid while OD is pushing it. Either way, OD, he's got his damage output, and by damage output, I mean he's got some of his damage output now. So OD's going to be in a good position going into the mid game here. He's gotten quite a bit of farm, and he's staying just slightly behind the Drow Ranger and Kunkka here, at least in net worth. Ursa, on the other hand, the real hope of their team right now, especially since, I mean, the Coddle and the Venge are going to have a very fun time dealing with the OD, but the other heroes aren't int-based. So everything OD can do to them is not as effective as it is against that Venge and Coddle. The basis of it is that OD, he'll just deal raw amounts of damage, and that's why he's so deadly, but Ursa does the exact same thing. The only difference is OD doesn't have as much of a problem actually coming to grips with the enemy, whereas Ursa, he can enrage, he can run forward, but the problem there is he actually needs to come into contact with the enemy in order to kill them, and he has a very small range stun, whereas Astral Imprison is, yeah, I want to do Astral Imprison you, I can get you from the other side of the river. Blast coming out to clear the creep wave in mid just a little bit more quickly, and this is just a very interesting standoff right now that's going to end with Drow Ranger and Sand King coming into the bot lane here, finding that Ursa, and in the meantime, that's not what you're looking for if you're that Ursa, to get caught out like that by the Drow. No, indeed. And she's got her level 2 of marksmanship now. Yeah, Drow. We forgot to mention that she has an insane amount of agility with her ults, didn't we? Oh, yes. Drow, the one hero you don't want to have to deal with when it comes to being at range with her, which is the one problem that Ursa's going to have dealing with her. She's got phase boots, where, well, Ursa does have them too, but both heroes have an equally good ability of running away from each other. The only difference is Drow Ranger can actually abuse that much more effectively by simply staying ranged with the Ursa and staying far enough that her marksmanship still takes effect. A little bit more counter pushing out that mid lane. Bot lane, on the other hand, already pretty far pushed out. Earthshaker just continuing to farm this as much as he can, getting whatever farm he can while Ursa's back in the jungle, trying to build up to his next item. OD, on the other hand, is trying to catch up, period, up in the top lane, and, well, Pudge is indeed going to get caught out, going way too deep in here, and, well, this may be an act of subterfuge at this point. I'm not actually sure if this is. That's the second time that report/kill Pudge has been called in this match. Hopefully that's not a thing. And Jesus Christ, my Coddle gonna go down here. Ursa goes in deep. Now he gets stunned. In comes the Burrow Strike, and that's just basically kill confirmed, followed up by the Venge, able to right-click him down. And Shadow Demon just getting caught up by the Burrow Strike. And in comes the enemy heroes. And I'm sorry, if you want to escape, how about not? Now Sand King and Venge pushing the mid lane, dealing just a little bit more damage to that tower. Kunkka
Dire's
coming in the
middle
body, gets a
tower is
torrent
under
on the
attack.
creeps, just not on the
Dire's
Earthshaker,
middle
unfortunately.
tower
Gonna
has
try and get that
fallen.
Tidebringer, deal whatever damage he can to Earthshaker. In the meantime, mid T1 tower going to go down, and both heroes for the range just gonna back up. Sand King and Vinge not here to risk anything, and that works well in their favor. Coddle in the meantime trying to counter push top lane. OD was nice enough to push that, and the Coddle Blast completely misses. Oh, Coddle. Your Coddle Blast is good on creeps, not so much on the OD. I mean, sure, it deals a lot of damage to the OD, but in this instance, the OD was already gone, so
Dire's
I
bottom
want to
tower is
actually
under attack.
Kunkka with a DD rune in the bot lane here, looking very scary, and actually, as I say that, it runs out. Now an enraged Ursa running in here, trying to find said Kunkka, and not finding anything. Instead, just going to start pushing the lane out once again. It's almost up to 800 gold. OD, on the other hand, looking very poor right now. He's got his Force Staff, so he's got his capability to go in there. Astral Imprison, he's got his ability for Sanity's Eclipse. He just needs to be able to Force Staff his way out of there as well. That's the one big advantage of Force Staff compared to Blink Dagger. You can Force Staff yourself even if you are taking damage. Unlike Blink Dagger where, oh, I took 1 point of damage from Alki's Acid Spray. I can't do anything anymore. Oh god, this is just getting played. Either way, Kunkka goes down here, gets caught out. Nice Vinge stun right into the face of Ursa. His Enrage is not up yet, but it looks like he's just going to go and farm creeps instead, get his health back. He's going to love it. An invisible Drow Ranger, their Shadow Blade coming for the flank. The silence comes in. She finds the Shadow Demon. She's point blank range, though her marksmanship is no longer effective. They get out of range again, and now marksmanship comes back into effect. His Member comes out. There's the Coddle Blast. Sanity's Eclipse. Going to try and get whatever kills they can. Coddle taking a lot of damage. It looks like Sand King goes down, whereas Pudge gets soloed by the Drow Ranger here. Vinge goes down to the OD, who's just crazy damage right now. They turn back around. Astral Imprison comes out. Ursa, he's in a great position. Marksmanship, no effect whatsoever. 2 TPs in, though. The Shadow Blade bringing her right back in here. X marks the spot coming out on the Ursa. He needs to turn back around and fight this. He's dealing the damage he needs. Is it enough? The stun comes out. It misses the Kunkka. And Drow Ranger are going to do exactly what Drow Ranger is great at. Right click, right click, right click. And that is what she's there to do. If you don't kill the Drow, if you don't have Invis detection at this point, you're going to have a bad day, because now she just has that little bit more posturing capability. Okay then, you tried killing me, I'll just Shadow Blade, walk away, and immediately I have marksmanship back. Guess what? I deal twice as much damage now, if not 3 times actually. That is just the power of Drow Ranger's marksmanship. You have to act as if she's an OD. That much damage will be output by her if you're not careful. Kunkka taking a lot of damage from the Shadow Demon here, still able to back up. Courier, on the other hand, pretty far out actually. Shadow Blade now out on the Kunkka, actually great to see that he's got an urn as well. The more important one there for Kunkka going to be that Shadow Blade, because that gives him just that little bit more escape capability, just that little bit more initiation capability for that matter. So it's going to work well for either side. Right now what they are probably going to be looking for, if I can actually, at least what the other side's going to be looking for, I would expect a Blink Earthshaker. Oh, let it be a thing, please. Just that little bit of initiation. And, again, full team just comes in, 5-mans, Pudge and Shadow Demon, actually. Bad day to be Pudge and Shadow Demon, where you're getting caught out left and right. Do I even want to know how many times Pudge has died? Pudge has died 8 times. He's died the most in the entire match. Pudge, if you are dying 8 times, you might be doing something wrong. Just saying. Other than that, Drow Ranger up to a 10k net worth now. That gives her 4k over the OD. That gives her 5k over the Ursa. And oh dear, that's a lot of gold that you have to make up going into the mid-game. Kunkka, on the other hand, in comes the Shadow Demon, able to lock him down. Ursa, Fury swipes. Can he catch up? No. There's the Shadow Blade, though. He gets dusted. Now Ursa actually comes into contact. The slow from Shadow Demon, exactly what they were looking for. And hi, Kunkka, bye. That's essentially what just happened there. Earthshaker comes in. Ursa's going to do a little bit more damage, and it looks like we may have a push. Nope. They're just going to divulge and go right down to bot lane, where the Sand King is pushing very aggressively. Pudge misses his hook, unfortunately, and the Sand King sees this coming. He blinks. Where does he blink to? Right into the trees, and a TP out immediately. Very nicely played. Coddle, on the other hand, never even went in for this engagement. He's right nearby. We're going to see the Coddle Blast. 55 seconds until Roshan. That Coddle Blast gonna hit the Pudge right in the face. Earthshaker, on the other hand, just gonna sidestep it slightly.
Invisibility!
Oh, an invisible Coddle, and there's no vision to find him here, whereas there's a lot of sentry wards here. I just want to say this, that's a lot of sentry wards. And actually, they're gonna see that They're gonna see that. And oh, that barely, ever so slightly misses. That sentry ward, if it were placed just right in the usual spot, it would have spotted it completely. But unfortunately, they're not going to be able to see that. That ward is going to get completely missed, and by Coddle, not so much. Coddle just comes in and says, yeah, you had a ward, now you don't. They turn right back around. Shadow Demon coming down with the Pudge, looking to make something happen here. In the meantime, that last Observer Ward actually wearing out for the Raiders, so they don't have vision on the Roche Pit anymore. Pudge right here. Nuke comes out from Venge, and they realize, oh, this is a bad engagement to walk into. They turn back around. OD reinforces, and now it's a 4-man push towards this mid lane. Ursa's still farming, just taking down the Ancients. Gets out of range right in time. Immediately goes back into rage, turns back. Ancients, guess what? I like your gold, Ancients. That's what he is here to do. OD actually surpassing the Ursa and gold at this point. It's going to be a lot of fun there. The question there being is, Ursa is actually leading him in GPM still. Kills on the other hand, he's still leading him actually. So the fact that OD is actually leading in net worth right now is a little bit surprising to my brain. Kyle just doing a little bit more counter push here. Almost getting caught out by the Pudge hook there. Not going to happen though. Pushing right onto the high ground. Cook is being very aggressive about this. There's a Pudge, there's hooks, there's an OD right next to him. If you got caught out by a Pudge hook there, I would not want to be you in that situation. Torrent comes in though. Tidebringer immediately comes out as well. In comes the Burrow Strike. There's the Earthquake. This is a bad day. OD goes down. Shadow Demon not far behind. The Venge comes in with the nuke and it gets the kill it needs. Pudge, fail boat. Punka even agreeing with me that it was a fail boat. But now the mid tower going to start taking damage. Already the Drow Ranger. Hi, level 3 of marksmanship. I do 290 damage per right click. Yeah, this is what Drow does. It is simply fast attack rate, lots of damage. Punch hook! The punch hook! Will it get the kill? The dismember comes out. Kalo comes in for the reinforcement. She gets the range she needs. Marksmanship back in effect now. Ursa, Fury Swipes isn't enough. Sand King goes down. He needs to get range. Mana Leak so much, and no, it's not going to happen. The Drow Ranger is able to keep range away from the Ursa. That's the downside of Ursa. If you can't get close enough to that Drow Ranger, it's going to be a very bad day to be you. And mid T2 tower going to go down, and looking at this right now, top T1 tower below half health but still alive. Mid T1 tower almost dead. Bot T1 tower still above half its health. The Dire have not taken a single tower this entire match so far, and not only that, the Radiant, they're about to take Roshan. The Dire, they don't have vision of this actually. Even, they should have taken the... It's daytime. You saw the DD rune walking in there. There's no sentry wards. You should have taken the DD rune, but that's
Roshan has fallen to the
still, Roshan going to drop like a rock. Kunkka going to be the one picking up the Aegis here. Drow immediately rotates off, starts doing the Ancients. What does she have? She has her Yasha and a Mask of Madness even, so... Right. Attack speed, through the roof. That's just the game of Drow Ranger here. The amount of attack speed she's going to have. It's going to be absurd to deal with, I have to say. That is an OD on the high ground. He forced up nose there. X marks the spot, comes out. He tries the fissure, doesn't come out in time, and he gets caught right in the torrent. That was very nicely played by the Kunkka. Force staff down from the OD. In comes the Ursa. Dust gets popped too early. They pop a second Dust, and now Enrage comes in. Aegis gets popped. Sand King, he's trying to reinforce here. He's looking for an opportunity. He's not going to find it, though. Here comes the Aegis. Immediately, Dismember comes out. Kunkka having a bad day. He does come in. There's the Earthquake. Astral Imprisonment at the last moment, and now Sand King about to come out. There's the Enrage. Sandstorm gets popped. Is there dust? There's no longer dust. They popped all of their dust on the Kunkka. He's trying to get out of there. He does. In comes the Kala. Nuke comes out on the Pudge. They turn back around. There's the Fury on the Ursa. Nuke comes in. Is it enough? No. They're going to turn away from that fight either way. Kyle even taking a moment to chakra himself before continuing to run away, because there's an angry Ursa bear chasing you. In the meantime, though, Drow Ranger doing exactly what she needs to do. She's split pushing into this. She's now on the bot T3 tower. Bot T2 tower already gone down here. Kala going to get caught down. He gets astraled, so he's going to go down. No way he's going to get out of this. There's no escape snag. He does have a Ghost Scepter. He was able to pop it. Actually, it's not going to last long enough, though. He pops enough to stay alive just a little bit longer. But yeah, no, not going to happen, Kala. And in the meantime, Drow Ranger escaping down the bot lane. Did not take the bot T3 tower, but dealt an insane amount of damage to it. It's not in denied range either. That was incredibly well played by her. She took down the T2 tower. She dealt an incredible amount of damage to the T3 tower. And they are in a great position pushing into that bot lane. Top lane, they still have a T2 tower to take down, but they're going to sit back and laugh as they farm all the way to the bank right now. Oh god, she's building into Manta style. That is going to be a Manta style Drow Ranger. That is not something anyone wants to have to deal with. Damage output times 3. That's essentially Manta style, especially on heroes like Drow Ranger and Anti-Mage. Fissure comes out from Earthshaker, and he's able to retreat back fast enough that the Drow not going to find him. And I just want to take this moment to say, oh dear lord, the XP graph is above the 10k mark, gold is up to the 14k mark, and only getting larger rapidly. As per GPM, Ursa's actually staying up in GPM behind the Drow Ranger, but it's going to be a hard-pressed game to actually get the farm he needs, and he simply needs to get that farm, because going into the late game, they're going to depend on that Ursa and the OD, and OD's fallen behind the Ursa even, so it's going to be more of dependency upon the Ursa, but the OD just going to be there as a semi-carrier, just really full carrier, I should say. But he's going to be there for the damage dealing that he's going to be doing, and it's just late game, looking at this, it's going to be an interesting time to be the Radiant. They have the extreme carry that is Drow Ranger, but overall, OD is going to be able to out-carry her in the very late game if they play it right, especially an OD and an Ursa are going to be able to out-carry her if they play it right in the late game, because Kunkka's going to fall off as we go later into the game. Drow Ranger, on the other hand, is going to stay pretty powerful, but it's just going to be the combination of the Ursa and the OD. The insane damage output of Ursa combined with the insane damage output of OD. That's what they're going to be depending on. Meantime, bot T3 tower going to go down here. Drow Ranger going right in. They do have vision. Nice sentry going to spot her out. Disruption comes in, quickly follows. Sandy's Eclipse, so much damage. Drow Ranger, she's going to go down. In comes the boat. Is it going to get a kill? It does get Shadow Demon. And now we see the Sand King trying to run out of here. Rock doing so much damage. There's the dismember. Now Cuddle trying to run away. Blinding Light actually knocking him back. Kunkka right here. Enrage comes out. Fury Swipes. It's Fury Swipes, bro. DPS. I got DPS. I'm Ursa. Kunkka actually going to buy back. Chasing after the Cuddle. Run, Cuddle, run is the name of the game here. He's got his Ghost Scepter. He could stay alive for just a little bit longer. He gets stunned, though. In comes the Enrage. There's an angry Ursa Bear, and down goes the Coddle, and an Ultra Kill. Just a seamless transition right into the Ancients as well. A beautiful play from the Ursa. They may have lost the T3 tower, but they still saved the racks. Not only that, they got a full team wipe there. Kunkka even buying back, giving them just that little bit of a turnaround, and gold's still pretty far up there, but XP going to make a sharp turnaround, and that's what the Dire were looking for right now. They need to continue that trend now. We're past the 25-minute mark. We're going into the 30-minute mark, and if they can just maintain this team fight, if they can continue winning team fights like that, then that XP advantage is just going to continue turning around and around, and going into the late game. This is one of those interesting situations that I see so often these days, is that the Dire end up with this insane XP advantage, the Radiant end up with this insane gold advantage, and it comes down to a game of less about, well, we've got all this gold and all this XP, we're going to push your high ground, rampage, murder you, and all that fun stuff, and it turns into, well, it's tactical positioning. It is about team fights. It is about the late game. And right now, if this XP graph continues turning around, that's what I'm going to be expecting as we head further into this game. Especially as Ursa, he's getting even more capability to farm the jungle here. He's got his BKB, he's got a Blink Dagger, so he's got the capability to close the distance now. Unless you're dealing DPS to him, that Ursa blinks right into your back with Enrage, and Fury Swipes takes effect, and his slow will come into effect. They do catch up. Shadow Demon, he goes down immediately. Disrupts temporarily with simply not enough punch getting out here, but in comes the Blink Ursa. This is what I'm talking about. They didn't see him coming, but he gets too far away, and he's just pursuing the damage output, though. Coddle comes in for the final, actually Drow gets the final hit there, but Coddle, just the DPS output from Drow. Coddle, the Coddle Blast as well. Ursa goes down, and now that's exactly what you didn't want to have happen. They got a single kill out of it. The Venge went down. Sand King didn't actually go down. Kunkka didn't go down. And they lost 3 heroes from him. They didn't lose the OD, thankfully. And as long as he continues farming, which he's not, he's sitting on the high ground here, preparing to defend the T3 tower, because in comes an angry Radiant team pushing this mid lane very aggressively. Burrow Strike comes out from the Sand King to clear that creep wave. And now they're pushing high ground right off the bat. Glyph gets popped. OD right here. A Fissure comes out from the Earthshaker. Astral Imprisonment comes down. They turn this right back around. X marks the spot, the Torrent right on him. No boat as yet. Disruption comes in. There's the Sand King. BKB gets popped. They close the distance. This is the fear of Drow Ranger. Can't you do enough damage? Astral Prison comes out. He forced himself out of the way, and in the meantime, Sand King, Kunkka both go down. Shadow Demon, so much DPS. Drow Ranger trying to get out of here, but in comes the Force Cap from OD, and she's going to go down. Shadow Demon, in the meantime, gets taken down by a Cuddle Blast from Cuddle. They're pursuing. He's running into the jungle, trying to juke out of the way. actually juking a 360 all the way back around. Fissure comes out. He's trying to TP out. There's no longer Fissure. He's going to make it. And the Venge just runs the other way in the meantime. Don't mind me. Just a lone Venge. Just trying to get out of here. And that's an exact turnaround of the team fight we just saw. They closed the distance with the Drow. They said, Drow, you're not dealing the damage, you get to Drow. Your marksmanship is gone. That's going to basically have her DPS output, and that's exactly what they need to do in these team fights. They got rid of the Kunkka. They got rid of the Sand King. They made sure that there was no Earthquake. Or, well, Epicenter, more correctly. And that's exactly what they needed to do going into that fight. It was very well played by the Dire, if not a little bit messy. It could have gone a little bit more cleanly. They still did lose their Shadow Demon, but they won the team fights. And looking at the XP graph once again, it's turning around. It's down to that 6K mark. Gold, of course, still heading steady at the 14K mark, and I wouldn't expect to see a change until the Dire start taking towers, which, as long as this XP graph continues doing this, it's going to be inevitable. There's going to be towers that are going to get taken by the Dire here. Top T1 tower actually already gone down, so I'm going to have to eat my words. One tower already going down. Mid very low on health. Bottom pretty low on health. Ursa back to farming the Ancients here. Roshan going to be up in about 1 minute and 30 seconds. So this is just political posturing right now from the Dire team. They're going to sit around, farm all day long, or as long as they can anyway, unless your name is Pudge, in which case you're going to walk right into the enemy team, get caught out rather brutally. Torrent comes in. Again, that's so well timed. He has that timing just perfectly. Either way, Pudge gonna go down here, and they're not even gonna bother to do anything about it. Ursa's gonna continue farming Ancients, and oh, an invisible Drow Ranger. They want to make something out of this.
Under attack.
They're going to push very far forward, and they're going to find out no one's there. They've even smoked up, looking for whoever they can. The wards are gone for the Dire. They have no ward vision whatsoever. The Radiant are just in their jungle looking for ganks. And if the Dire aren't careful, today is going to be a very bad day to be a Dire carry.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
That little smidgen of farm. Drow Ranger actually going to farm said jungle. Smoke's starting to wear off. Looks like it is fully wear off.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Still has another 10 seconds or so. Kunkka comes in. There's the epicenter. There's the blink in. The burrow strike so nicely played. Who do they find? They find an Ursa. He stuns. He slows. Epic. Zeddy's Eclipse. Brutal. So quickly. The DPS output. Ursa with a double kill. Drow Ranger running for the hills. Run. Run, Drow Ranger. You can't win this. One support is down, your other support is still alive but running, your initiator dead. No, this is not a time to try and get a kill out of this. The Dire, beautiful. The epicenter, the Ursa with that that was just beautiful. The Astral Imprisonment on the Ursa to take him out of the fight separately. They walk over him thinking, oh, it's an easy game. Followed by Sanity's Eclipse, followed by Fissure. Just the team fight that came out of that was beautiful. And then Ursa, he stunned, he slowed, he Fury swiped, and that's the job of Ursa. Pure DPS. If you are purposely closing the distance with Ursa, you're doing something wrong. And now Roshan comes back up. They're going to take it quickly and brutally. They get cheese out of that. And Ursa, he's still got his 600 gold. Looks like he's saving for buyback. Even going to pop dust. Apparently, they wondered if someone was around there, but no invisible heroes for you to find today. It looks like a potential Shadow Blade. Or is it?
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh, could be. Blade Mail coming out from the Pudge. I'd like to see that, actually. Oh, my brain said Shadow Blade. Nope. Just going to have to be good old Blade Mail by the looks of it. Ursa comes in, he's got his rage, he's going to take the T1 tower so quickly. Torrent comes down and finds both the Ursa and the OD. Oh, X marks the spot. Not even going to bother. Kind of a threat is X marks the spot to me. Almost gets blinding lighted right into that Coddle Blast. Not going to happen though. He turns back around. There's the Enrage. Coddle drops like a rock. The Fissure. That was not the Fissure that needed to happen. Epicenter comes in. It catches the Earthshaker perfectly. Boat comes in. So much damage. Ursa. A just gets pumped. Odie trying to run out of here. He imprisons himself. Ursa's back up. Are we going to see the Fury? He blinks right onto them. He finds the Kunkka. Kunkka goes down. Odie's still taking so much damage. He's trying to out DPS the Sandstorm, but it's not enough. The Sandstorm going to take him out of the fight too, so Sand King's still alive here. He turns back around. He's trying to make this happen. He blinks and strikes out of that. That was beautiful. Earthshock with a blink. Burrow Strike, it even misses. And the Pudge Hook, it actually lands for what might as well have been the first time in the match. Okay, he's landed a hook before, but that's basically the first time in the match. He gets his dismember, and Sand King gonna drop to that pod. She needs to back off like crazy. It's a 3-for-3 exchange, 41-29 in favor of no one. But that gave the Dire a little bit of reassurance. But it also gave the, I mean, obviously Drow's still feeling incredibly safe right now. Sitting outside the T2 tower, thinking she's gonna take this. Is she going to? If he gets the Blink Dagger, that's all he needs. But no, he turns back around. She's right under tower. Can he close the distance? No is the answer. And this is going to be Drow. Gonna get out of that. Just, oh, the slow on that Drow is just brutal. Closing the distance for the Ursa just became that much more of a problem. And when his Blink gets disabled, he can't close the distance. That's what needs to happen. And Drow just going to pick off so cleanly that Ursa. Not a good day to be an Ursa.
Dire's top
and now both
attack.
Carries actually have gone down for the Dire here. And now this is just a game where they need to sit back, play it safe, play carefully. They overall just need to be very careful in how they position this, because they are on a precipice is just a simple answer. The gold graph dropped to 10k because the tower kills, but the XP graph's the more important one here. It started turning around once again. It's up to over the 3k mark. If the Radiant win another team fight, then that's just going to be a little bit worse for the Dire. Because the later we go into the game, if the Radiant continue taking advantages, if they continue taking team fights, then that's not going to be good, especially when the carries are the ones who die in those team fights. Bottom lane going to get pushed in. It's just the Radiant, if they continue pushing, they keep winning team fights and their carries don't die, then they're going to continue winning the game. But if the Dire, on the other hand, don't lose their team fights, they don't lose their carries in those team fights, then that's just going to be even better for them. It's going to give them that little bit more farming time that they need on their carries. OD, he just farmed bot lane. Ursa, nowhere to be seen as he's not even alive just yet. DD comes out on the Kunkka. Where is this Kunkka? Actually down at the Ancients right now. Just going to quickly farm those. Ursa going to blink into the mid lane just for added dramatic effect. Going to kill the mid lane as quickly as possible while Drow Ranger pushes in that top lane once again. Ursa's going to rotate right up, and this is what he's looking for. Now Ursa, he blinks in, but the Shadow Blade out from Drow Ranger going to get her out of that fight very quickly, and she's going to be A-okay just getting out of that. She did her job. She split pushed the top lane. She got farm, and that's what she's looking to do right now, is just continue farming, continue pushing that top lane, split pushing, making sure the Dire are pinned in their base without the capability to farm their jungle or farm at all for that matter. And oh my god, this is such a deadly thing for anyone to have to deal with. A Daedalus on the Kunkka. Tidebringer already deals that crit damage. Combine that with a Daedalus, and I've had instances playing against the Kunkka where I don't even see the Kunkka, and he comes within range that very last moment. Tidebringer comes out, and I'm playing Nyx. He just dealt a 1k crit to me that one-shot me. I didn't even see him, and he just killed me. That's just the brutality of Kunkka in this situation. Multiple TPs into the top lane. Looks like they do find Avenge down in the bot lane in the meantime. Ursa gonna blink out here, being chased by a Kunkka, being chased by a Sand King and a Coddle. OD, what are you doing, OD? This is not the fight to go into. He gets stunned. He astral imprisons himself. That's so clean. The epicenter, will it wear off in time? Yes, it does. Ursa turns back around. The BKB comes down. Kunkka, so much DPS. Ursa gets caught in the torrent. It's simply not enough. Kunkka goes down. The blinding light knocks them right into them. That's not the good idea. Force staff in from the OD. Blink in from the Ursa. He finds the Kunkka. The TP isn't going to be in time. It's going to be in time. No, it's not. That was so close. The TP. I'm not even sure what happened there. I could have sworn the TP went off. So close, but no, the TP going to get the kill. And now in the top lane, Drow Ranger, she's getting caught out. She's been found out. The Ursa right there. Marksmanship no longer in effect by Drow Ranger. Nice knowing you. And that is not, absolutely not what the Radiant were looking for in this fight, in any of that fight for that matter. Sand King, he's right here, down in the bot lane, just rotating out, realizing I don't even feel safe anymore. Because looking at this is exactly what I'm talking about. The XP graph went back up to the Radiant, and guess what? It just made a U-turn. It's looking like a sine graph, that's how much of a U-turn it was. Gold, on the other hand, still holding at the 15k mark. And it looks like we're continuing on. We're in the 40-minute mark, and this is just continuing on exactly where I thought it was going to go. We're going into the late game. That XP graph is dangerously close to 0, and if the Dire win any more team fights, then it's going to continue, and it's going to be a Dire advantage in the XP factor. Blink in from the Ursa, barely misses it, plus it's a haste advantage. You're not actually going to find that in the first place. Astral Imprison comes out, and if this haste wears out, today's going to be a not good day to be you. Instead, she runs the opposite direction. They find the Coddle. Coddle drops like a rock. TP in from the Drow Ranger. She's going to be caught right next to the Ursa, but the Burrow Strike, the epicenter comes in. Ursa, is he going to go down? X marks the spot, comes down. Ursa goes down. Odie goes down, and that's the carries down. Oh my god. No, that's not what you want, Dire. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's all that needs to be said there. Don't drop your carries like rocks. I mean, I realize they still got a support out of that, but the moment the Drow Ranger TP'd in, that was a, well, let's get the fuck out of Dodge moment. Let's not be there, is the simple answer. Let's not be in that fight. Because Drow, if she gets range, and exactly the worst happened. The Burrow Strike came in from the Sand King, followed by, not even followed by the Epicenter, the Burrow Epicenter came in from the Sand King, slowed all of them, stunned all of them. It allowed the Drow Ranger to get the range she needed. It allowed the Drow Ranger to say, hi, I now deal 300 damage per shot. How does it feel? Okay, make that 400. 400 damage per shot. Drow Ranger, right-click damage extraordinaire. You thought I dealt damage in the first place. Nope, I'm Drow Ranger. That's just the name of Drow Ranger here. And now, top lane already pushed out. Mid lane continuing to push out here. We're continuing on. It's the 42-minute mark. Where is Roshan? He's going to be up in 2 minutes at this point. And the Dire, they're feeling pretty safe. And by pretty safe, the Dire are feeling pretty safe on their high ground. Not farming. OD is farming. Ursa still down. The rest of them aren't farming. Pudge is sitting in his base. Shadow Demon's sitting in his base. Earthshaker shitting in his base. Yes, no, sitting in his base. Feeling about as unsafe as you can. OD, the only one who's actually farming, and thankfully he's the real one who actually needs to farm here. X marks the spot, comes out, in comes the boat. It's going to find the Pudge almost head on. Shadow Demon, the one who's been caught in that boat almost every single time. Not going to happen. They turn back around, Dust comes out. Kunkka, hi Kunkka, I found an Ursa. And that's not what you want to find. Venge, right-click damage extraordinaire, but just a DPS from the Drow. So much damage. Earthshaker fishing at the last moment, barely staying alive. Will he get out of here? No, he won't. A crit from Drow Ranger, and the Tidebringer going to guarantee that kill. Pudge Hook comes out. They find the Drow Ranger. Ursa right there, but he misses the stun. His Earth Stomp not going to land. The melee barracks taking damage. Glyph comes down. In comes an Urn Charge onto the Sand King. Ursa, he's right here. He wants to initiate. Are we going to see the blink? Are we going to see the blink? No! The Burrow Strike comes in. The DPS output is still affecting it. But Drow drops like the rock. They turn this back around. He's right there. He's sandstorming. He wants to get out of here as fast as he can, but that's just not happening. Thankfully, he has his blink. He gets out of there. In the meantime, Ursa gets caught out, but Pudge, he finds the Coddle, and now Sandstorm. Is it going to save him? No, the OD's still there. The last strike going to come in, and indeed, Sand King going to go down. Pudge, that's a full team wipe for 2 of your players in any situation. That's a good fight. They didn't even lose the melee racks. It took damage, but that's a good fight if you are the Dire, to lose 1 carry, 1 support, and get a full team wipe. Yeah, that's a good fight. Not only that, the XP graph did drop below 0. It's gone back up to the 4K mark. I expect it's going to turn around very quickly here as OD continues to free farm, Pudge continues to free farm. So that XP graph is going to continue turning around just that little bit more. Gold graph, on the other hand, holding steady at the 15K mark. OD almost at his max level. He's almost at the 25 here. So pretty soon he's going to basically level out on XP. There isn't going to be much more he's going to be able to get. And this is more and more becoming a game of positioning. It's less and less about gold. I mean, still about items, because Drow Ranger's DPS is insane. But it's less and less about a game of items, and it's more and more about positioning, team fights, and this is going to be a lot of fun as we continue on. Fisher comes out from the Earthshaker. I saw that, Kunkka. I swear I saw him. Oh, you still missed him with the Fissure, but good attempt. Good attempt. One thing I do want to point out, and this is a thing that I love pointing out in these games, is wards. What are wards? Wards don't exist, apparently. The Radiant have one ward. Thankfully, it does cover the rune, covers good river vision. But come on, Dire. Wards, map control is a beautiful thing. You know you want map control, so please, place wards. Do you have wards? You don't actually have wards. Wards, bro, they count for something, such as the fact that you'd be able to see that this invisibility rune is here and actually grab it before they grab it, which is not going to happen. Unless something really strange happens, which it's not. Pudge, well, he finds the invisibility rune at the last moment. He pops his blade mail as well as his shadow blade. Actually, he didn't even have a shadow blade, take that back. In the meantime, Ursa is trying to solo Roshan. Pudge gonna hook the Drow out of there. A very nice, clean play. Sand King right in there. So much DPS. The Venge goes down, but Ursa about to, Drow Ranger about to solo the Pudge. Actually, her illusion's about to solo the Pudge. Ursa still alive here. He needs to get close to the Drow Ranger. He misses the Torrent. Earthshaker right here. Ursa goes down. He gets an enchant on him. He gets a fissure. He's just trying to get out of there, but no. Bye-bye. And now it looks like Roshan indeed going to get stolen by the Radiant. Trying to figure out who's grabbing the Aegis. More correctly, it's Drow with the cheese. And who gets the Aegis? It's a game of Aegis roulette, folks. You don't need the Aegis. Although apparently Drow is going to have said Aegis. Again, the calls of reporting the Pudge coming out. Oh, poor Pudge. Just because he misses all his hooks, but the ones that don't actually count, doesn't mean you're supposed to report him. Maybe he wanted to ward.
Dire's bottom barracks are under attack.
In any instance, that's your melee racks. Dropping like a rock. Thankfully, I don't think they can actually backdoor. Can they backdoor it? Is its health dropping? Well, it was, until Pudge Hook! Well, he popped the Aegis. Pudge did something useful. The Rax is still getting... How is this Rax? You are backdooring a Rax. You are failing at backdooring this Rax. Thankfully, they finally backdoor the Rax. Ursa's still down. Do they have buyback? Probably not, saying they didn't buy back. No, they don't. So, both racks going down here. It looks like they managed to get something in there. And indeed, now that's Mega Melee, Mega Ranged creeps in the bot lane. They rotate seamlessly into the mid lane. OD's up, though. Blink in, or more correctly, Force Staff in from the Sand King. Finds himself in a very bad situation with an OD there and a lot of DPS output. Drow Ranger pops the BKB, goes in. Illusions of Sand King actually chasing after it. Dust comes out from the Sand King. Did it actually? Yes, it did find the Drow. Did I say from the Sand King? Excuse me, from the OD. That's not a Sand King. Dust comes out from the OD, finds the Drow Ranger, and they're not going to pursue that. Anyway, looks like she got out of range at the very last moment. Instead, they're going to continue farming, trying to get whatever farm they can, because looking at the XP graph, it's gone back up to the 8K mark, and this is just crazy. Look at this! Look at this XP graph! It's forming a W! That's how crazy it is! You don't have graphs that crazy every day, I gotta say. And now, this is crazy. OD, he's even got a Scythe the Vice right now. What is he getting? He's getting a Refresher Orb. Double Sanity's Eclipse. Holy shit. That's all I need to say about that. Double Sanity's Eclipse. That would not be a good day to be the Radiant. Especially Coddle and Venge. Oh no. Not a good day. Meantime, Ursa is trying to get whatever farm he can. The Radiant completely clearing the Dire jungle. Okay, the Dire jungle. And in the meantime, they're also going to push that top lane in as much as they can, especially since the top T3 tower already gone. Mid T3 tower is still pretty healthy, so they're looking to push that top lane. And with it, it's going to be a 5v5 if they play this right, and looking like they don't want to go into this either. The Radiant, they're sitting right off the boat here, and that's kind of what I'm expecting. Force Staff in from OD, going very deep into this fight. X marks the spot, comes in. No Torrent as of yet. Mana Leak comes out. They find the Venge. No, they find the Drow. She gets Force Staff into the fight. Then she gets swapped out by the Venge. OD, Sandy's Eclipse comes in. Who is dead? People are dead. Drow goes down. Kunkka goes down. Coddle goes down. Ursa's right here. Right-click damage extraordinaire. Hi, Radiant team. I heard you like dying. I brought Sanity's Eclipse, and I brought my good friend Ursa. I hope you enjoy him. That was just brutality in teamfight. That's what that was. Drow Ranger, finding herself on the high ground, suddenly wasn't in a very good, or on the low ground, excuse me, suddenly wasn't in a very good position, followed by a swap from Venge to save the Drow, right into the middle of an Ursa and an OD, into the middle of a Sandy's Eclipse. Oh my!
Radiant's middle tower.
I thought Drow was dead already. Well, she was dead even more the moment she got swapped by Venge. And Ursa going for a bloody GG push like none other. They find the Coddle. OD, you have less than 200 health. Might not be a good time to push. Just saying. Ursa, on the other hand, he's got his life steal. He's gonna go in and kill this tower in a matter of milliseconds. Oh, but he can't blink. He pops BKB. He pops his phase boots. Run, Ursa. Run. That's all that needs to be said. Run, Ursa, run. And this is exactly down to the letter what they needed to have happen. They pushed mid lane, they got a full team wipe, and then their carries got the fuck out of dodge. Beautifully played by the Dire. They got in, they got out. They didn't lose either carry, and Ursa, well, he had to pop his BKB and he almost died, but he still survived. That's the important part if you're Ursa. And now the Radiant, neither side really feeling safe, because looking at that XP graph, it's forming, I mean, it's just a mountain range at this point. That's what the XP graph is. That's what I'm describing it as. It's a mountain range. And it's dangerously close to 0, may I point out. It's beneath 3k, just a little bit above that 2k mark, but it's so close, it might as well be 0. Gold even slowly starting to turn around. It's dropped beneath the 15k mark. It's quickly moving towards the 10k mark. And the Dire, this is what I'm talking about. We're at the 52-minute mark, and the longer this goes on, the less it becomes about, well, we have items, we have XP, we have gold, and the more it's about, hey, look, we have better positioning, we have better team fights. We can actually win this because we know how to team fight. And if the Dire continue to abuse it like they did last fight, with that Sanity's Eclipse, which was beautiful. And he, oh my god, he has a refresher now. It's a refresher OD. Hey, Pudge, he did something useful. Except OD wanted to go in on the Kunkka now, so not so much. A nice swap from Venge, going to doom herself. Epicenter comes in. Now his BKB's worn off. He's going to force step himself out of there. Are we going to see an Eclipse? Not yet. He turns back around. Ursa Bear face booting out of there. They turn back around. There's one Sandy's Eclipse. There's the second one. So much DPS. Venge goes down. Kunkka, he's trying to man mode the Ursa. He succeeds. OD and Ursa both go down here. Pudge trying to stay alive. He goes down. That's 4 players down. Shadow Demon disruption. That was not a good fight to go into. Shadow Demon. Run, Demon, run. And he turns back around and he dies. Yep, that happened. Either way, that's a full team wipe for the Dire. Do they have buyback? There's no buyback across the board. This could be GG. The Radiant, they're going straight for the T3 tower. Glyph gets popped. Creep wave comes out. Is it enough? Burrow Strike clears that wave instantly. Glyph wears off tower. Drops like a rock. The Racks are going to be right behind it here. And the question now, are the Radiant going to go for a big GG push here? With 30 seconds until anyone is up with no buybacks, GG is being called by Ursa Bear here. And actually, they're going for the top racks even. They're not going to go straight for a GG push. But the T4 towers are taking damage. The Mega Creeps are pushing in. Top racks are gone. That's Mega Creeps for the Radiant. And with no respawns in any amount of time at all. Kunkka even with a buyback just to add insult to injury. The last T4 tower goes down. The throne is being attacked. And my, I think it's GG.
Dire's Ancient is under Radiant victory.
Ending up a 57-48 game. Looking at that XP graph quickly, it went back up to the 10k mark, but that's just the most mountainous graph you could possibly have. Gold up to 20k. Absolutely beautiful for a game. The Dire, they almost made a comeback, but they just lost one too many team fights, and that last team fight doomed them in the end. And just in the end of the day, it was very nicely played by both sides. The Dire, they could have won that. They almost came out of that winning that, but in the end, it just went against them in the very few moments of that. And I think it was brilliantly played by either side. They played it very nicely. They got the carries, they got them farm. The OD and the Ursa really did combine to make a ton of damage. They came in and said, "Hi, I'm Ursa Bear. Hi, I'm OD. I've got Sanity's Eclipse. I've got Enrage. I heard you don't." In the meantime, though, Drow Ranger really showed, hey, I'm Drow Ranger. I've got marksmanship. I can deal lots of damage, and she did a lot of damage even early on in the game. And I think that was beautifully played by just both sides. And overall, GG. That's all that needs to be said for that game. G. Either way, folks, my name has been PankzTV. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you will join me some other day.